A Johnstown woman facing homicide charges in the brutal death of her fiance's baby will head to trial.
Investigators say Hayley Butler was alone with the child when he suffered injuries so bad he had to be taken to Pittsburgh Hospital, where he died about a week later. Maria Miller was in court for us today. Maria, what did you find out?
Well, Marty and Jen, the injuries are horrific, much worse than originally laid out in court documents 3 months ago. Today, doctors said the baby not only had severe bleeding and swelling in his brain, they said his arms and legs were fractured, his ankles and shoulders torn from his bones.
I wanted to go to trial, and I want her to get the fullest penalty of all.
Rebecca Everett sat in tears Friday as her infant son's death was recalled in court. It's been nearly 3 months since 10-month-old Brennan passed away, and his father's girlfriend, Hayley Butler, was charged with homicide.
The child was at home with the defendant, alone with the defendant at the time that these injuries occurred.
On Friday, it was a Johnstown firefighter who testified he was the first on scene. He described the baby as being covered in bruises and scratches, his face swollen and lip cut. And when he went to start CPR, he said it appeared the child's ribs had been broken. A doctor who helped treat baby Brennan at Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh said he suffered fractures in his arms, legs, and ribs, swelling and bleeding in his brain, his shoulders and ankles twisted and pulled from the bone. Injuries the doctors said were not only consistent with child abuse, but the only logical explanation.
Once this child suffered this head trauma and this constellation of injuries that was testified to, this child would no longer be normal. This child would no longer be conscious.
Butler sat emotionless Friday as investigators detailed 2 different versions of events they say she told them during questioning. Her fiancé, Brennan's father, had told us back in September that he stood behind Butler in support, but on Friday his current stance was unclear as he had no comment leaving court.
The facts don't lie. The doctor's records don't lie. You know, I mean, it's time to face up and at least admit that you did something. If you're not going to tell us what you did, at least admit that you did it.
All of Butler's charges were bound over for trial. Until then, she'll remain in the Cambria County Prison without bond. Reporting live, Maria Miller, 6 News.